Morning, you four. This is Smithy, our cockatiel. You're probably going to hear him in our active starter today. Okay, I'd like you to set up a room in your house with 4 numbers along the walls. You'll have a poster with 24 on, a poster with 18 on, a poster with 6 on, and a poster with 12 on. I'm going to give you a question and then you're going to run to that number in your room. Okay, Grace, can you demonstrate? So if I was to say 10 plus 2, where would you go?
12.
Brilliant. If I was to say 30, take away 6, where would you go?
24.
When you're set up, you can press play and then I'm going to ask you 12 questions. Are you ready? Okay, what is 18 divided by 3? Go. Well done. 6. What is 5 add 7? Go. Well done. 12. What is double 9? Go. Brilliant. That's 18. What is 6 times 4? Well done. That's 24. What is half of 24? Go. Yes, well done. That's 12. What is 3 times 6? Excellent. That's 18. What is double 12? Yeah, well done. It's 24. What is 36 divided by 6? Go. Well done. That's 6. What is 8 times 3? Yeah, that's 24 again. What's 3 times 4? Good job. It's 12. What is half of 12? Excellent. That's 6. And finally, what is 5 add 5 add 8? Go. Brilliant. That's 18. We're going to continue our work on area today. So what's the big picture? Area is a measure of how much space there is inside a shape. Calculating the area of a shape or surface can be useful in everyday life. For example, you may need to know how much carpet to buy for a room or how many tiles you will need to cover a wall in your bathroom. Now, key vocabulary for today: area, space, 2D shape, squares, measure, and rectilinear shapes. What is a rectilinear shape? A rectilinear shape is a shape that has straight sides and right angles. It can look like 2 rectangles have been joined together. There's an example of 3 of them. Let's recap the work from yesterday. Can you have a look at working these 3 questions out and come back to me when you've finished? How did you get on? What were the answers to the repeated additions? They were both 20. What were the answers to the multiplications? They were also 20. Look at question 2. What is the area of this shape? You can see that there are 5 in each row and there are 4 columns. So the calculations in question 1 relate to question 2. What is the area of this shape? It is 20. 20 squares. There's 4 rows of 5 or 5 columns of 4. What about the areas of the shapes in question 3? Let's look at the square. It has 9 squares. What about the rectangle? It has 12 squares. Well done. What is the area of this shape? It has 7 squares. Can you draw me another shape with the same area? Pause the video now. How did you do? We could have had an example like this, or this, or this. You may have come up with some different ones. As long as you have 7 squares in, then you did a good job. Let's have a look at this. Can you draw a shape with an area of 5 squares? Pause the video now and have a go. You could have drawn one like this. So we would have had 5 in a row. You could have drawn one like this. So 2 and 2 with a 1 underneath. Or you could have drawn one like this. Looks a bit like a plus sign. What did you come up with? Tiny wants to have a go at that question. Okay, let's see what Tiny can do. He's done a shape like that. Do you think Tiny is correct? Pause the video and have a think. What did you think? No, unfortunately, Tiny is not correct. You shouldn't have a gap between the squares. Have another go, Tiny. Okay, so Tiny's had another go. Do you think Tiny is correct this time? Pause the video and have a think. How did you get on? What did you think this time? No, Tiny is not correct again, unfortunately. The coloured square should meet along the sides, not just the corners. Come on, Tiny, you can use your growth mindset. Have another go. Do you think Tiny is correct this time? Pause the video and have a think. Yes, well done, Tiny. All the squares meet along the sides and all meet together without any gaps. Great job. This shape has an area of 5 squares. Can you change the shape to make it a square with an area of 9 squares? Pause the video and have a think. How did you get on? The first thing we need to do is make it a rectangle. So we're going to shade this square here. You can see that there's 2 in a row and 3 in a column. We know that a square has 4 equal sides. The area has the same number of rows and columns. So we need to shade that column in there. Now we have 3 in the row and 3 in the column. Now it's your turn. Remember to do 1 chili's worth of work. You either do chili 1, chili 2 or chili 3, depending on how you got on with today's lesson. This question is suitable for chili 1. It says draw a shape with a given area. So 7 squares and 13 squares. Pause the video and have a go now. This question is suitable for chili 1. It says draw 2 different shapes, each with an area of 8 squares. Pause the video and have a go now. This question is suitable for chili 1, 2 and 3. How many more squares do you need to add to make the area of the shape equal 11 squares? Pause the video and have a go now. This question is suitable for chili 1, 2 and 3. Amir has created a shape. He says, my shape has an area of 10 squares and is rectilinear. Tick the shapes that Amir could have made. Think about those rules we talked about when Tiny was having a go. Pause the video and have a go now. This question is suitable for chili 2 and 3. Whitney says, I cannot make a large square using an odd number of smaller squares. Do you agree with Whitney? Draw a picture to support your answer. Pause the video and have a go now. This question is suitable for chili 2 and 3. Can you draw 2 different rectangles, each with an area of 12 squares? Pause the video and have a go now. This question is suitable for chili 3. Add squares to this shape to make it into a square. What is the area of the square you have made? How could you have made a larger square? How many more squares do you need to add? Show your working. Pause the video and have a go now. This question is suitable for chili 3. Dora and Tommy have drawn rectilinear shapes. There's Dora's and there's Tommy's. Tommy says he's made a different shape with the same area. Do you agree with Tommy? Explain your answer. Pause the video and have a go now. Great job today, guys. Now it's your turn to check your work. So, for the first question, it says draw a shape with a given area. You had 7 squares and 13 squares. Now these are only examples. You need to check that you have 7 squares in A and 13 squares in B. Remember, there shouldn't be any gaps and the squares should meet along the sides, not just the corners. For this one, you needed to draw 2 different shapes, each with an area of 8 squares. Again, these are only examples. Check you have 8 squares in each shape and remember about the gaps and the squares meeting along the sides. How many more squares do you need to add to make the area of the shape equal 11 squares? We needed to add 5 more squares. Well done. Amir has created a shape. He says, my shape has an area of 10 squares and is rectilinear. Tick the shapes that Amir could have made. So you needed to have ticked these 2 shapes. This one isn't a rectilinear shape because it's touching by the corners only. And this one has an area of 9. Well done. How did you get on here? Did you agree with Whitney? No. You may have drawn a square that has 3 rows and 3 columns. You may have drawn one with 5 rows and 5 columns, or 7 rows and 7 columns. Well done if you spotted that. How did you get on here? Draw 2 different rectangles, each with an area of 12 squares. You could have drawn one that had 12 in a row, one that had 6 in a row with 2 rows, one with 4 in a row with 3 of those, or you could have done it the other way round, the 6 by 2 or the 2 by 6, the 3 by 4 or the 4 by 3. Good job. How did you get on with this one? Add squares to this shape to make it into a square. Is that what you did? What is the area of the square you've made? It's 16 squares. And then if you make it a larger square, you could have it 5 by 5. If you did that, you would have to add 9 more squares. Well done. How did you get on with this one? Tommy says he's made a different shape with the same area. Do we agree with Tommy? No, we don't. He's made the same shape as Dora. It's just a different way round. I checked Times Tables Rock Stars on the Friday the 22nd of January. I looked at accuracy over the last 7 days. The top 2 children from each class are Jaden and Alice in 4B, Owen and Mason in 4M, Cole and Amelia in 4S, and Savannah and Charlie in 4EP. Well done. When I looked at the top 10 children, 6 of them were from 4M. So well done to Cohen, Mason, Evelyn, Tyler J, Corin and Matthew. Super work. Here are your dojo points, guys. Well done. Please remember to email me your work at this address. Great work today. See you tomorrow.